EastEnders Kathy and Rocky wedding ruined by bigamy twist. Rocky's ex-wife Jo has had her revenge. EastEnders has aired a bigamy twist for Kathy Beale and Rocky Cotton on their wedding day. The soap had foreshadowed the wedding day disaster earlier in the week when Jo turned up at the registry office to announce that her divorce from Rocky wasn't yet final. Rocky managed to shoo his ex-wife away in Tuesday's, July 18th, episode, before pressing on with the ceremony without telling Kathy what had happened. The groom was then racked with worries at the reception, cheering up only when it was time for him to give a wedding toast to his bride. Rocky was in the middle of his wedding toast to beautiful wife, Kathy, when ex-wife Jo suddenly turned up at the Vic intent on ruining the celebration. Jo raised a toast of her own to Mrs. Cotton, before being pulled into the back room by Rocky. He tried to convince Jo not to ruin Kathy's big day, only for Jo to quip that marrying a bigamist isn't such a big day. Kathy interrupted to warn Jo that she wasn't welcome, adding, "My husband now, not yours, so why don't you go and play with the traffic?" Rocky explained that Jo barged in with a cock and bull story about them still being married, before dismissing it. Jo quipped back that Kathy is as deluded as a sand castle in the Arctic, before presenting her with documents supposedly proving she was still married to Rocky. Rocky reiterated that he'd personally posted the divorce papers, though Jo confessed she'd never actually signed them. When Kathy branded Jo a cow for meddling in their wedding day festivities, Jo snapped back, "At least I'm a married cow." The newlyweds insisted no court in the land would uphold Jo's scheme, only for her to remind Rocky she'd warned him not to marry Kathy moments before the ceremony. What happened? He went ahead and committed bigamy, earning himself a nice little 7-year prison stretch, Jo declared. Kathy banded together with Rocky, pretending they'd never seen Jo at the registry office, but Jo revealed she'd recorded her row with Rocky earlier in the day. On the recording, Jo could be heard clearly telling Rocky they were not legally divorced. Jo explained that she'd done all this for revenge, and to prove Rocky was still her husband. "You're his bit on the side," Jo told Kathy. Jo took things even further by rushing out in the Vic to announce to the whole pub that they were celebrating bigamy, yet Kathy shoved her before she could finish her statement. A few slaps were exchanged between Jo and Kathy before Rocky's ex was tossed out of the pub. Outside of the Vic, Jo promised she'd have Kathy and Rocky, both locked up, for assault now as well. Jo finally told the couple they could buy her silence with £50,000 before the end of the week. If not, she'd go to the police. Even though Rocky vowed to come up with the money, the newlyweds were left worrying about their future as the episode ended.
Xin chào các bạn đã quay trở lại OK Soát Spoiler. Vừa rồi các bạn đã theo dõi một sản phẩm của chúng tôi, OK Soát Spoiler, một kênh tin tức chuyên cung cấp cho các bạn những thông tin mới nhất về những bộ phim xà phòng của Vương quốc Anh như EastEnders, Easteners, Con đời Transit và Hollywood. Các bạn hãy để lại bình luận bên dưới về những thông tin chúng tôi đã nêu trong video. Hãy like và subscribe để ủng hộ kênh. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại các bạn video tiếp theo.